It was Christmas Eve in Manhattan, and I'd been up since 4:30 in the morning. The smell of the honey-glazed ham that had been marinating for 2 days filled our apartment on the Upper West Side. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old. I work as an executive assistant at a tech startup in Chelsea, and since my dad passed away 6 years ago, I've organized every Christmas dinner for the Mitchell family. My older sister Jessica arrived around 3 in the afternoon with her husband Brad. She walked through the door, her Chanel bag casually slung over her shoulder, her Louboutins clicking on the hardwood floor. Jessica is 37, a partner at a prestigious law firm on Wall Street, drives a brand new Tesla Model X, and owns a penthouse overlooking Central Park. She walked through the kitchen where I was preparing the apple pie and sighed dramatically. "Oh my God, Sarah, do you always have to make such a production? Can't we just cater from Whole Foods for once?" I smiled and continued working. Jessica had always been like this, successful attorney who looked down on anything that didn't meet her standards of sophistication. My mother, Linda, arrived at 5, carrying a box of cookies from Dean and DeLuca. "Honey, you know at 68, I don't have the energy for these things anymore," she said, settling into the couch in the living room. I kissed her on the forehead and returned to the kitchen. We were still waiting for cousins from Boston, Uncle Robert from Chicago, Aunt Patricia from Miami. The entire Mitchell family would come for the Christmas dinner I was preparing alone, as every year. At 7 o'clock, the table was set. The white linen tablecloth that had belonged to my grandmother, the Lenox china I'd saved for years to buy, the Waterford crystal glasses I'd paid for in 12 installments. At the center sat the glazed ham, surrounded by all the fixings: green bean casserole, sweet potato soufflé, cranberry sauce, mac and cheese, cornbread stuffing. The desserts: pecan pie, apple pie, red velvet cake, Christmas cookies I'd been baking since Thanksgiving. The guests arrived gradually. Uncle Robert with his new girlfriend Natasha, a 28-year-old Instagram model he'd met online. Aunt Patricia with her 3 teenage sons glued to their iPhones. My cousin Michael from Boston with his pregnant wife Jennifer. The apartment filled with voices, laughter, the typical noise of a large family gathered for Christmas. When we sat down at the table, there were 24 of us. I'd calculated everything, every portion, every bottle of wine, every detail. Jessica sat at the head of the table, where Dad used to sit, as she'd done since he died. Brad beside her, showing off his new Apple Watch Ultra. My mother on the other side, already on her second glass of Napa Valley Cabernet. It happened while I was carving the ham. I was serving portions, attending to everyone, when Jessica stood and tapped her glass with her knife. "Everyone, attention please, I want to make a toast." Everyone fell silent. To Brad, who just closed the most lucrative deal in his company's history. Applause. Brad stood, adjusted his Brooks Brothers tie, and began a 15-minute speech about the deal, the millions involved, his business genius. When he finally sat down, Jessica took the floor again. "And now I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to this wonderful dinner." My heart quickened. Finally, some recognition. "Mom, thank you for the delicious cookies." Mom waved awkwardly. Everyone knew they were store-bought. "Aunt Patricia, thank you for the wine." Patricia had brought 2 bottles of cheap Barefoot Moscato from CVS. "And Sarah," she paused dramatically, looked at me with that particular smile of hers. "Thank you for doing the dishes afterwards. After all, that's all you're good for, right? You only serve to wash dishes." The silence was deafening. 24 people stopped chewing simultaneously. I felt the blood rush to my face, my hands trembling slightly. Brad laughed, found it funny. My mother pretended not to have heard. The cousins looked down, embarrassed. I stood slowly, took my water glass, had a sip. I looked Jessica straight in the eye, she who was still smiling, satisfied with her public humiliation. "You know, Jessica, you're right. I really have washed a lot of dishes today. I washed the dishes where I prepared the ham you're eating. I washed the pots where I made the mac and cheese that Brad's already had thirds of. I washed the baking pans for the pies that Mom's already devoured without even helping." Jessica tried to interrupt me, but I continued. "Actually, since we're giving thanks, let me give mine. Thank you, Jessica, for your $0 contribution to this dinner. Thank you, Brad, for always arriving when everything's ready. Thank you, Mom, for always having an excuse not to help." I pulled out my phone. "Do you know how much this Christmas dinner cost? $8,600? Do you know who paid? Me. The same person who only serves to wash dishes. Ham, turkey breast, prime rib, all the sides, wines, desserts. All me. Oh, and that seafood tower over there? The one from Citarella? $4,200. Also paid by me. Aunt Patricia choked on her Moscato. Citarella? You ordered from Citarella? Exactly. Maine lobster, Alaskan king crab, oysters from Blue Point, imported caviar. I was going to serve it after the main course, but you know what? I don't think so. After all, someone who only serves to wash dishes shouldn't be splurging on Citarella, right? Jessica went pale. Sarah, stop this drama. You're ruining Christmas. I'm ruining it? Me? Me who got up at 4:30? Me who's been cooking all day? Me who spent the equivalent of 4 months' rent to feed people who don't even say thank you? My voice was steady now. You know what? You're only eating here because I wanted it, because I paid for it, because I cooked it. My cousin Michael tried to mediate. Sarah, calm down. She didn't mean it. Didn't mean it? She just said in front of 24 people that I only served to wash dishes? In the apartment that I decorated, with the food that I prepared, at the dinner that I financed. I looked Jessica in the eye. You know what the difference is between us? You have money and think you're better than everyone. I have money and use it to bring the family together. Only that's over. This is the last Christmas I organize. Brad stood up, irritated. What an overreaction. Jessica made a joke and you... A joke? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You know what's funny? I have the receipts. I pulled the papers from my pocket. $8,600 for dinner, $4,200 for Citarella, $800 extra for wine because I knew what you'd bring wouldn't be enough. Total, $13,600. Is that funny to you? I threw the papers on the table, right in front of Jessica's plate. And the most ironic thing? I make less than you. Much less. But every year I save, I go without, I pay in installments because family means something to me. But today I understood that to you, I'm just the unpaid help. My mother finally spoke. Sarah, sit down. This isn't necessary. No, Mom. You too. Every year you arrive, sit down, eat, and leave. You don't even help clear the table. And I never said anything. But tonight, in front of everyone, your favorite daughter decided to humiliate me. And you stayed silent. I took my purse. The Citarella Tower is paid for. Help yourselves. The kitchen is full of food. Take what you want. The dishes? Well, Jessica can wash them. After all, someone has to do it, right? Jessica stood up, face red. You can't just leave. It's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. And my present to myself is no longer accepting being treated like a doormat. I looked at everyone. Merry Christmas. Oh, and before I forget, I took out my phone again, opened the banking app. Jessica, I just sent you a Venmo. $100. That's the rate for a cleaning lady in Manhattan for 4 hours. Consider it your wages. Her phone pinged. She looked at the screen, incredulous. You're paying me to wash dishes? I'm paying you. After all, now that everyone knows who really financed this dinner, it's only fair that the one who only criticizes does something useful. I headed for the door. Oh, and the dish soap is under the sink. The one with lavender doesn't dry out your hands. I always think of these details. I left, but my cousin Michael told me later what happened. Jessica tried to maintain composure for a few minutes, but when everyone started talking about the amounts I'd mentioned, about her cruelty, she began to cry. Brad tried to defend his wife, but Uncle Robert cut him off. $13,600, Brad. The girl spent $13,600 and you didn't even say thank you. Aunt Patricia was more direct. Jessica, you crossed every line. This girl works all year to organize this dinner and you were cruel. My mother, for the first time in 6 years, took a stand. Jessica, you embarrassed me tonight. Your sister has been the backbone of this family since your father died, and you treated her like a servant. Michael said the atmosphere became so heavy that by 10 o'clock, everyone had left. Jessica and Brad left without touching the Citarella Tower, without tasting the desserts. The table remained set, the food growing cold, a desolate scene of what should have been a celebration. I spent the rest of Christmas Eve at the plaza. I ordered room service, drank a nice Sonoma Pinot Noir, watched a movie on Netflix. For the first time in 6 years, I didn't wash dishes on Christmas Eve. For the first time in 6 years, I felt free. On Christmas Day, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Messages from cousins, uncles, all apologizing, saying they didn't know I was financing everything alone. They thought it was a group effort. Aunt Patricia sent a 20-minute voice message crying, saying she felt terrible for never offering help. Uncle Robert zelled me $3,000 with the message, "For next Christmas." My mother came to my apartment on December 26th. Her eyes were red from crying. "Sarah, forgive me. I've been a terrible mother. You've taken care of everything alone all these years, and I only criticized, never helped, never thanked you." I hugged her. "Mom, I didn't do it for thanks. I did it for love. But love doesn't mean accepting humiliation. I know, and you're right." Jessica is devastated. She cried all night, says she can't sleep, that she's realized how cruel she was. "She's always been like this, Mom. The difference is that now everyone's seen it." My mother took my hands. She wants to apologize. She can apologize, but things won't go back to how they were, and they didn't. January came with a new family dynamic. Jessica tried to reach me several times, sent messages, tried to call. Brad sent flowers to my office with an apology card. I thanked them, but kept my distance. In February, my mother called with a proposal. The family wants to do a Sunday brunch, but this time everyone contributes. Money and work. What do you think? I agreed. When I arrived, the scene was surreal. Jessica in the kitchen, actually cooking. Brad chopping vegetables. My mother making dessert. Uncles and cousins, all helping somehow. When they saw me, they stopped. Jessica came to me, apron stained, hands wet. "Sarah, I need to ask for your forgiveness. Not just for what I said, but for all these years. You held this family together alone, and I was a monster." I looked into her eyes. There was sincerity there, something I hadn't seen in a long time. "Jessica, I forgive you, but things have changed. I won't sacrifice myself alone anymore. If you want family, we build it together." She nodded, tears rolling down. "I've discovered something these 2 months. Washing dishes is hard, cooking is hard, organizing everything is hard. But you know what's hardest? Doing it alone while everyone criticizes. The brunch was different, simple but honest. Everyone helped, everyone contributed, everyone thanked. There was no glazed ham or Citarella, but there was something that had been missing for years: respect. March brought a surprise. Jessica called me one Thursday evening. "Sarah, I need a huge favor. I have an important dinner with Japanese clients, and the caterer canceled last minute. Can you help me? You want me to cook?" "No. I mean, yes, but with me. Together. I'll pay for everything, obviously, and pay you for your work too. But more than that, I want to learn. Can you teach me?" I spent all night with her in her designer kitchen. I taught her how to make the perfect roast, the secrets of a flawless soufflé, the art of homemade pasta. Jessica took notes, asked questions, tried, failed, tried again. At 3 a.m, exhausted, we sat in her kitchen drinking coffee. "You know, Sarah, I was always jealous of you." I nearly choked on my coffee. "Jealous? You? Of me?" "Yes. You were always Dad's favorite. You cooked together, laughed together. I was good at school, at tests, but you had his heart." "Jessica, no, let me finish. When he died, you naturally took his place. The holidays, the gatherings, you kept the family together. And me? I could only criticize because it was the only way to feel important. Pathetic, right?" I took her hand. "Not pathetic, human. But you didn't need to belittle me to feel valued." "I know. And that Christmas Eve, when you showed the receipts, when you left, it was like a slap. I realized I had everything but had nothing. Money, apartment, car, but not the respect and love you'd earned with simplicity and dedication." Her dinner with the clients was a success. The Japanese were delighted. The contract was signed. Jessica insisted on telling everyone that her sister had helped, that these were family recipes. For the first time, she gave me credit. April came with news. The family decided to create a common fund for celebrations. Everyone would contribute monthly, and there'd be a schedule for who'd organize each event. It was no longer one person's responsibility. In May, we had the Mother's Day lunch. Jessica and I cooked together. Brad took care of the wines and discovered a passion for California vintages. My mother, for the first time in years, made the cake. Uncles and cousins, everyone participated. The table was set, the food delicious. But most importantly, the burden was no longer on my shoulders alone. During lunch, Uncle Robert made a speech. I want to thank Sarah, not just for today, but for all these years. We were blind, selfish. You kept this family together with your own sweat and money, and we didn't even notice. Forgive us, niece, and thank you. Everyone applauded. I cried, not from sadness, but relief. Finally they understood. June brought an opportunity. I received a job offer. An international events company based in Los Angeles had seen my LinkedIn profile where I'd listed organizing family celebrations as volunteering. They wanted to hire me as events director. The salary was 5 times my current one. Jessica was the first person I told. She cried with joy. Sarah, you deserve it. You've always had this talent, and now they'll pay you what you're worth. The job change brought changes to the family dynamic too. With less free time, I couldn't organize everything alone, even if I'd wanted to. And you know what? It was good. The family learned to really organize themselves, to collaborate. In July, I moved to Los Angeles, to an apartment in Manhattan Beach with ocean views. The whole family helped with the move. Jessica painted the walls with me, choosing warm California colors. My mother sewed beautiful curtains. Brad assembled the furniture without complaining once. On moving day, we had a housewarming party. I cooked, but everyone brought something. The table was set on my small balcony, cramped but together, with the Pacific Ocean sparkling below. During dinner, Jessica asked to speak. I want to say something. That Christmas where I said those horrible things was the worst and best day of my life. Worst because I showed what a monster I was. Best because it was the day my transformation began. Sarah, you don't just serve to wash dishes. You serve to unite, to love, to teach. You're the heart of this family. In September, during a family meeting, my mother made a revelation. I have to tell you something. The money Sarah spent on celebrations, she took it from her savings to buy a house. She sacrificed her dream for us. The silence was profound. Jessica started crying. Sarah, why didn't you ever say anything? Because family was more important. Keeping you together was more important than a house. Brad stood up. How much do you need for the house? It doesn't matter, Brad. The hell it doesn't. How much? About $150,000. He looked at Jessica. She nodded. Consider it done. It's the least we can do. I refused initially, but they insisted. It wasn't charity, it was justice. It was recognition. It was love. October came, and with it the purchase of my house in Hermosa Beach. Bigger than expected thanks to their help. The whole family participated in the decoration. Jessica helped me choose furniture from American designers. My mother created magnificent cushions with California fabrics. Brad installed a complete smart home system. November flew by with Christmas preparations. This time, everything different. Shared task list, common budget, everyone involved. I created a WhatsApp group, Mitchell Christmas, all together. The messages never stopped. Suggestions, ideas, everyone taking responsibility. Jessica took charge of the ham. She spent weeks studying recipes, calling me for advice, doing trials. Brad handled the wines and discovered a passion for craft cocktails. My mother, surprise of surprises, decided to make all the traditional desserts. She started practicing in October. December arrived. The 24th. I arrived at Mom's at 4 in the afternoon. The kitchen was full. Jessica with the ham in the oven, Brad setting up his drink station, Mom decorating the desserts, uncles and cousins, all working. When they saw me, they stopped. Jessica came with a box. This is for you, from all of us. I opened it. It was an apron. Embroidered on it, Sarah, much more than dishes, chef of hearts and CEO of family love. Below, signed by everyone. I cried. We hugged. All together, a messy, beautiful group hug. Dinner was served at 8. Table set, family gathered. Before eating, we did a gratitude circle, Michael's idea. Everyone thanked for something. When my turn came, I looked at everyone. I'm thankful for last Christmas, for having the courage to stand up, for you having the humility to recognize, for us being here, different, better. Jessica was last. I'm thankful for my sister, for teaching me that humility isn't having less, it's valuing more. That family isn't about blood, it's about choice. And that washing dishes, well, washing dishes can be an act of love when done with heart. Sarah, you don't just serve to wash dishes, you serve to teach us to be better. We toasted, ate, laughed, sang carols. Midnight came with sincere hugs. Presents were exchanged, but the greatest gift had already been given. Respect, recognition, transformation. At 1 a.m, everyone in the kitchen washing dishes, together. Jessica beside me, scrubbing a pot. You know, Sarah, you were right. Someone has to wash the dishes, but it doesn't always have to be the same person. True. And you know what? Washing dishes together is actually fun. She laughed, splashed me with suds. We started a suds war that quickly became a general family battle. My mother shouting to stop but laughing. Brad protecting his Apple Watch. Uncle Robert filming everything on his iPhone. 3 a.m, house clean, everyone exhausted but happy. Sitting in the living room, eating leftover pie. Jessica rested her head on my shoulder. Sarah? Yeah? Next year will you teach me Grandma's apple pie recipe? Of course, but there's a secret that's only passed on when the person is ready. And am I ready? Almost. When you understand that the secret isn't in the recipe, it's in who you're feeding. March 2025. Jessica called me excitedly. Sarah, I have an idea. What if we open a business, a catering service, but special? Not just food, creating experiences. Jessica, are you sure? I've never been more sure. You have the talent, I have the capital and contacts, Brad can manage the finances. We could create something amazing. In April, Hearts and Dishes, Emotional Catering was born. Our philosophy was simple. We didn't just serve food, we created memories. Every event was personalized, every detail thought through with love. First major event, a golden anniversary for friends of Uncle Robert's in Napa Valley. 500 guests. We were nervous. In the kitchen, Jessica beside me plating up. Sarah, what if it fails? It won't. You know why? Because we're a team now. No one's alone. It was a triumph. The couple cried tasting the wedding cake, identical to the one from their wedding 50 years earlier. The groom gave a speech of thanks. We were applauded at the end. By July, the business was booming. Article in the New York Times. Sisters transform family conflict into culinary empire. The article told our story, that Christmas that changed everything. Jessica insisted on saying in the interview, my sister always had this talent. I just took too long to see it. September brought a proposal. Netflix wanted to make a documentary about us. Hearts and Dishes, When Food Heals Families. They'd show our journey from that fateful Christmas to today. Filming began in October. The hardest scene, recreating that famous Christmas. Painful, but necessary. Jessica gave an emotional interview. I humiliated my sister publicly. It was the worst mistake of my life, but it's also what transformed me. Today, I wash dishes with pride by her side. The documentary premiered in November. Massive success. We received messages from all over America. Families in conflict, estranged siblings. Everyone saw a piece of themselves in our story. December returned. 2 years after that fateful Christmas. This time, dinner would be in our reception hall in Beverly Hills. Larger space, the whole family plus friends and employees. About 200 people. I arrived at 6. The hall was magnificently decorated. Lights, enormous tree, table set for a banquet. Jessica waited at the entrance, elegant in a red Oscar de la Renta dress. Sarah, before you go in, I must show you something. She led me to an adjacent room. On the wall, a giant photo of us as children, cooking with Dad. Below, a plaque. The Sarah Mitchell Room, where dishes become love. Jessica, every VIP room in our catering business will bear your name forever, so everyone remembers you're much more than dishes. We hugged, cried, entered together. The party was magnificent. Family, friends, employees, all together. Sumptuous table, live jazz band, palpable joy. But the special moment came at 11. Jessica went up on the small stage, microphone in hand. Deja vu from the year before, but completely different energy. Exactly 2 years ago, at this precise time, I spoke the cruelest words of my life. I said my sister only served to wash dishes. Today, 2 years later, I want to tell the truth. Sarah serves to love, to unite, to transform. She transformed our family, transformed me. Turned dishes into affection, food into communion, humiliation into opportunity for growth. She raised her glass. A toast to Sarah, the woman who washes dishes and hearts, who nourishes bodies and souls. My sister, my partner, my teacher, my best friend. Everyone toasted. I was in tears. I went on stage, hugged Jessica. You know, Jessica, 2 years ago you were right and wrong at the same time. Yes, I served to wash dishes, but I also served for so much more. I served to unite, transform, love, teach, inspire. And I discovered that when you embrace even the smallest task with dignity and purpose, you become unstoppable. Midnight arrived with fireworks Brad had organized over the Pacific. Hugs, wishes. The camera crew filmed everything for the Christmas special. At 1 a.m, 200 people washing dishes together in the kitchen. Jessica coordinating. People line up, sort by type. Sarah taught me there's even a system for washing dishes. We laughed, sang, washed dishes as if it were the most fun thing in the world. 3 a.m, everything clean. Only immediate family left in the hall. Me, Jessica, Brad, Mom, Michael. Eating leftovers, drinking leftover champagne. You know, I began, these 2 years have changed everything, but I wouldn't change anything that happened. The pain was necessary. Jessica nodded. The humiliation I caused became humility. Contempt became respect. Individualism became unity. My mother, usually silent at these moments, surprised us. I have a confession. Your father, before he died, told me something. He said Sarah had the gift of uniting people through food. Like him. He said to make sure she never lost that. I failed. I let her carry everything alone. Forgive me. Mom, it's okay. No, it's not okay. But now it will be. I promise. Brad, who'd been silent, stood up. I need to say something too. I always saw you, Jessica's family, as strangers. People I had to tolerate on special occasions. But these 2 years, you've become my real family. Sarah, thank you for accepting me even though I was a jerk. Michael closed the circle. Next year I'm marrying Jennifer. You already know who's doing the catering, right? We laughed. Of course we knew. Today, December 2025, I write this from our new headquarters in West Hollywood. Hearts and Dishes has 30 locations across the U.S. We employ 800 people. But most importantly, we're a family. Jessica just called. Sarah, is the ham ready? Take it out and let it rest for 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, and Sarah, thank you. For what? For teaching me that washing dishes can be revolutionary. Sometimes I think back to that Christmas 2023. The humiliation, the pain, the anger, and I'm grateful. Because we had to break to rebuild better. We had to expose the wound to heal. And Jessica? Well, she was right and wrong at the same time. Yes, I serve to wash dishes, but I also serve for so much more. I serve to unite, transform, love, teach, inspire. And I discovered that when you embrace even the smallest task with dignity and purpose, you become invincible. The phone rings again. It's Mom. Honey, what time do we start? 7 o'clock, Mom. As always. I need help with the eggnog. On my way. I stand up, take my keys. Today is Christmas. Today is family. Today there are dishes to wash. And for the first time in many years, this fills me with joy, not burden. Because today, we'll all wash dishes together, as a real family does. In the elevator, I receive a message from Jessica with a photo. Her in an apron, smiling, hands covered in flour, the golden ham in the background. The caption, learning to do much more than wash dishes with the best teacher in the world. I smile. Reply, we're all learning, Jessica, all of us. And it's true. We keep learning, growing, transforming. Because a true family isn't one that never fights. It's one that learns from conflicts. Not one that never makes mistakes. It's one that knows how to apologize. Not one that never falls. It's one that gets up together. Today, when someone asks what I do, I answer with pride. I wash dishes. And I transform lives while doing it. Because I discovered it's not what you do that matters, but how and why you do it. And when you do it with love, purpose, and dignity, even washing dishes can change the world, or at least change a family. And sometimes That's enough to start a revolution. What did you think of this story? Did it touch your heart? Leave a comment below and tell us if you've ever experienced something similar in your family. Can family conflicts really become opportunities for transformation? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss our emotional stories. Share this video with someone who needs to know that even the simplest gestures can create the biggest changes. Give us a thumbs up if this story moved you, and tell us in the comments which line struck you the most. See you next time with another story that will touch your heart. Happy holidays, everyone.